So my topic today is the peace movement dead? I've been asking myself that question each time I pick up the newspaper or turn on my nightly news. No headlines anymore on the front page. Stories buried on page 9 about the latest deaths in Iraq and Afghanistan. Or worse yet, no information on what is being done to end the illegal wars this country has engaged in for 8 years. Bush Sr. is widely quoted as saying that a war in Iraq would be illegal. And Bush Jr., as we all know, lied to get us into that war in Iraq. And again, is the peace movement dead? I remember the Vietnam War days when the call to take to the streets came and America listened. The students in the colleges and campuses and factories and unions and people from a broad variety of our society took to the streets and demonstrated, and in large part, the war ended. It didn't end by government making a decision to end it. It ended by the people making a decision to end it. In the 2006 march on the Pentagon to mark the anniversary of the war in Iraq, 100,000 people marched on the Pentagon. In 2009, only 5,000 or so people showed up to march on the Pentagon for the anniversary. How can that be? Is it because we elected a president that we were convinced was going to get us out of these wars? Have we become so complacent that we think that there is no need to demonstrate anymore because Obama is our peace president? We cannot allow the forces that work against peace to be successful. The right-wing machine that has managed to equate anti-war with being anti-soldier and anti-American, or the warmongers such as our ex-Vice President Cheney, who blatantly makes statements that would lead any fair-minded person to believe that he would welcome another attack on the United States just to justify the lies that were told during his administration. Just look at the way things were praised to lead our country during W's term. We created the Patriot Act. How much nicer could anything sound than the Patriot Act? Who could be against that? Only people that were not patriotic could be against the Patriot Act. In March of 2005, I was approached by a friend who worked for the American Friends Service Committee, a Quaker organization well known for its pacifist beliefs. They wanted to see if Palm Springs would be interested in hosting an exhibit honoring the troops in Iraq and bringing a message of peace. So I went to the community and I raised the money to bring the exhibit to Palm Springs, and it came. It was one of the most touching exhibits that I have ever seen. At the time, there were only 1,500 people dead. Seeing 1,500 pairs of boots, however, lined up in formation was overwhelming for many of us. But now we have over 5,000 dead, and we are not on the streets. To quote Cindy Sheehan, if we thought the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan and the bombings in Pakistan were wrong when Bush was president, then they're still wrong under Obama.
Amen.
Many of us feel that we were so in the minority, so beaten down during the Bush years, that now with Obama in the White House, we don't want to make waves. We don't want to create any animosity towards our new president. Finally, we have a friend in the White House, a majority in Congress, but all of this is not an excuse for us to let up. This Congress continues to authorize the vast sums of money we are spending on the wars. The timetable for exit that was articulated during the campaign for the presidency has quietly been forgotten and elongated, and we are increasing the troops in Afghanistan. And every American needs to ask, what have we gained as a country from these wars? Oh yes, I forgot. We prevented the use of those elusive weapons of mass destruction wherever they are, and we got rid of a dictator that we created to begin with. But at what cost? October 7th, the anniversary of the war, recent polls show that 54% of Americans believe that the war was a mistake. We need to bring our troops home sooner than later. We need to remember that peace is not just defined as an absence of violence. It is also about how we treat each other, how we view things as race and class, and how we work to make the world a better place for all its inhabitants. This is not an anti-American or an anti-Obama message. This is a human message that we need to stop aggression wherever it exists. Instead of more troops to a country, send people to assist with agricultural skills, water purification, infrastructure building, medical technology, all of that could happen through the Office of Peace. As long as global peace is represented by a gun or a bomb, peace will never exist. Do something today for peace. Bring it up at the next Rotary meeting you go to, or the Chamber of Commerce, or the next homeowners meeting. Don't just think about peace when you come to luncheons or events such as this. You have to think about it every day, and you have to ask yourself, what have I done for peace today? Take the heat the first time you talk about it, but keep talking about it, keep educating, and one by one, our ranks will swell. In the HIV/AIDS movement, and as you heard earlier from Navarre, silence is our own comeuppance. In the HIV/AIDS movement, there's a saying that says, silence equals death. And there's nothing closer to home in the peace movement than silence equals death. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Vote support, most importantly, Ginny Foat. Vote